Do you truly believe that relentless external pursuit and frantic manifestation techniques are the absolute, undeniable path to true prosperity? A belief system that paradoxically traps the soul in a relentless cycle of endless craving, yet cleverly disguises this insatiable pursuit as an admirable virtue of unwavering diligence and ambition. This is the insidious, subtle deception woven into the very fabric of modern consciousness, a pervasive narrative that often masquerades as the ultimate truth of success. We are indoctrinated from the earliest moments of our lives to relentlessly chase after what is outside ourselves: the next promotion, the larger bank account, the latest material acquisition, the ephemeral validation from a fleeting external world. We are taught that these outward achievements are not merely indicators of prosperity, but prosperity itself, the very essence of a well-lived life. Yet, deep within the silent chambers of your heart, beneath the clamor of societal expectations and the ceaseless hum of desire, a subtle, persistent question echoes. Why, despite all the striving, all the manifesting, all the meticulously planned strategies, does the promised land of inner peace and unshakable contentment remain perpetually out of reach, a mirage shimmering tantalizingly on the horizon? Why does the acquisition of one longed-for possession only ignite the craving for another, larger, more elusive prize? Why does the fleeting joy of achievement quickly dissipate, leaving in its wake a familiar gnawing emptiness, a spiritual vacuum that no amount of material accumulation seems capable of filling? This isn't just a fleeting doubt. It is the soul's profound and desperate cry, a primal lament against the spiritual poverty of a life lived solely in the shadow of external seeking. Paramahansa Yogananda, with the luminous clarity of a true master, echoing the timeless, profound wisdom distilled within the ancient Upanishads, reveals a truth so potent, so fundamental, that it shatters the very edifice of this modern striving and exposes, with merciless precision, the inherent spiritual poverty of material obsession. He teaches, not as a whisper, but as a resounding declaration from the very depths of cosmic consciousness, that true wealth, the kind that endures beyond the ebb and flow of fortune, the kind that brings an unshakable peace and an boundless joy, is not something to be acquired. It is something to be remembered. It is not something to be manifested through strenuous effort. It is something to be uncovered, unveiled, brought forth from the sacred sanctuary within your own being. It is, in essence, an inherent, immutable attribute of the Atman itself, your immortal, divine self. This revelation is not merely a philosophical insight. It is a spiritual surgical strike, cutting through the layers of illusion that have kept humanity bound to a Sisyphean task of external accumulation. It demands that we confront the uncomfortable yet ultimately liberating truth. The very strategies we employ in our relentless pursuit of wealth are, in fact, the chains that bind us to a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction. The insatiable hunger for more, the comparison with others, the ceaseless drive to fill an internal void with external things. These are not virtues. They are the cunning traps set by the ego, designed to keep the soul enslaved in the grand illusion of Maya, the cosmic dream that presents the fleeting as the eternal, the external as the internal. The Upanishads, the profound philosophical treatises that form the bedrock of Vedanta, speak with unwavering authority on this very subject. They declare without equivocation that the true self, the Atman, is identical with Brahman, the ultimate reality, the absolute consciousness that pervades all existence. And what is the nature of Brahman? It is infinite, eternal, pure consciousness, pure bliss, pure existence. To be the Atman, therefore, is to inherently possess infinite wealth, infinite peace, infinite power. It is to be an ocean of all possibilities, not a tiny cup desperately seeking drops from the outside. Yet we live as though we are that tiny cup, parched and longing, because we have forgotten our true divine nature. This forgetfulness, this spiritual amnesia, is the true inimigo comum. not some external force, but the self-imposed veil of ignorance that obscures the radiant truth of who we are. This forgetfulness manifests as the dor oculta abordada, the silent anguish of chasing fleeting material wealth and external validation, mistakenly believing it to be the source of genuine peace, profound purpose, and the inherent richness of the soul. It is the insidious feeling of spiritual emptiness that persists, even after achieving what the world calls success. You might have the corner office, the luxury car, the seemingly perfect life, but if the inner wellspring of peace and joy remains dry, then true wealth, the wealth of the soul, has eluded you. You are living a paradox, materially rich, yet spiritually impoverished. Yogananda's teachings, rooted deeply in this Advaita Vedanta philosophy, are not about abandoning the material world. They are about transforming our relationship with it, seeing it as an expression of the divine, rather than the ultimate reality. He offers a path, not of renunciation, but of reorientation, a shift from external craving to internal realization. He provides not just a philosophy but practical tools, simple yet profound, to awaken this inherent wealth, this boundless peace, and this dormant power of the soul. These tools are encapsulated in 5 potent words, words that he himself repeated, meditated upon, and lived by, words that serve as keys to unlock the hidden tesoro within your alma. Are you ready to stop chasing shadows and begin reclaiming your divine inheritance? Are you prepared to face the uncomfortable truth that the very structures of your striving might be sabotaging your deepest desires for peace and abundance? If you dare to challenge the world's definition of prosperity, if you yearn for a richness that time cannot diminish and circumstance cannot steal, then you must first ask yourself, what if the wealth you seek is not waiting in the next achievement, but is already pulsating within you, obscured only by your own misperceptions? I compel you now, in this sacred moment of introspection, to confront this question head-on. If the relentless pursuit of external wealth has left you with an inexplicable void, comment "unveil" below. Let your truth be heard, a public declaration of your readiness to strip away the illusions. This simple act is not for me. It is for you, a declaration to your own soul that you are prepared to embark on this journey of remembering. For only when you acknowledge the spiritual emptiness can the true spiritual wealth begin to emerge. This is not a path for the faint of heart, but for those courageous enough to question the very foundations of their perceived reality. Are you ready to discover the first, most crucial step in this profound reorientation of your entire being? You've felt it, haven't you? That gnawing frustration, the bewildering paradox of working tirelessly, sacrificing endlessly, only to find the elusive promise of true peace and lasting wealth perpetually out of reach. It's the silent anguish of chasing material abundance, mistaking its fleeting shimmer for the profound inherent richness of the soul. This isn't merely a personal struggle. It's a symptom of a deeper cosmic amnesia, a forgetting of the soul's true nature that has been deliberately engineered by the grand illusion of Maya, the inimigo comum that warps our perception of reality. We live in a world that relentlessly whispers, shouts, and screams that more is better. More money, more possessions, more external validation. This incessant external focus is the ego's cunning trap, disguised as ambition. It's a mechanism designed to keep your consciousness tethered to the ephemeral, convincing you that your worth, your happiness, your very peace is contingent upon what you accumulate outside yourself. The ego, a product of Maya, thrives on comparison, on lack, on the perpetual chase. It persuades you that spiritual wealth is a byproduct of material success, rather than its divine source. It makes you a victim of the very desires it instills. Consider the analogy of a king who, suffering from amnesia, believes himself to be a beggar. He walks through his palace surrounded by boundless tesoro, yet sees only dust and scarcity. He begs for scraps, unaware that the entire kingdom is his to command. This is precisely the state of the human soul under the influence of Maya. You are, in essence, the Atman, a spark of the infinite Brahman, inherently endowed with boundless wealth, not merely of gold and silver, but of pure joy, unshakable peace, infinite wisdom, and unconditional love. The Upanishads declare this unequivocally: Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, Tattvam Asi, that thou art. You are that boundless, infinite reality, yet you live as if you are a limited, impoverished individual, constantly striving for what you already inherently possess. This illusion is reinforced by countless experiences. You set a goal, a new job, a specific income, a partner. You achieve it. For a fleeting moment, there's a rush, a sense of accomplishment, perhaps even joy. But then, almost imperceptibly, the joy recedes, and the ego begins its insidious work. What's next? Is this enough? Someone else has more. The mind immediately shifts to the next desire, the next perceived lack, ensuring that the cycle of striving and dissatisfaction continues unbroken. This is the dor occulta abordada in action, the silent anguish of chasing external validation and material gain, mistaking these fleeting phenomena for the genuine eternal peace and purpose that only arise from the inherent richness of the soul. You are left with a spiritual emptiness, a hollowness that no amount of worldly success can truly fill. Yogananda profoundly illuminated this spiritual predicament. He taught that the soul, in its descent into physical incarnation, becomes veiled by the layers of ego, mind, and senses. This veil, Maya, convinces us of separation from God, separation from others, and most critically, separation from our own divine essence. It's a cosmic hypnosis, a powerful dream from which we must awaken. The pursuit of external wealth as an end in itself is merely one of Maya's most cunning lures, keeping us perpetually distracted from the tesoro that lies within. It makes us believe that the solution to our internal hunger is external consumption, when in fact, the only lasting nourishment comes from within. The frustration you feel, then, is not a sign of failure in your striving. It is the first potent alarm bell of your awakening soul. It is your Atman stirring, struggling against the confines of the ego's limited perception, yearning to remember its true, infinite nature. This inner agitation is a divine signal, a call to reorient your entire being. It's the beginning of the end of the ego's reign and the dawning of true consciousness. This is the foundational principle of Vedanta, the recognition that the world of names and forms, while appearing real, is ultimately an illusion, a projection of Brahman, and our suffering arises from identifying with this projection rather than with the projector, the ultimate reality. The problem, therefore, is not the absence of external wealth, but the presence of spiritual amnesia. It's not that the universe is withholding. It's that you are looking for water in a desert when you are, in truth, the boundless ocean. The very act of constantly seeking signals for external validation or material gain keeps you locked in the ego's narrative of lack. Your soul does not need to activate wealth. It needs to remember its inherent wealth. It needs to dissolve the illusion of scarcity that the ego has so meticulously constructed. So how do we begin this remembering? How do we pierce through the thick veil of Maya and the ego's cunning deceptions? The path is not one of frantic acquisition, but of profound introspection, not of outward striving, but of inward turning. The first true step in this spiritual archaeology is to stop searching for external solutions to internal spiritual conditions. It's to acknowledge, with radical honesty, that the external chase has failed to deliver the promised peace. But what happens when you truly stop chasing? When you finally look inward and discover that the internal landscape is just as chaotic and turbulent as the world outside? What then? This is where the true battle against the inimigo comum begins. The battle to reclaim your inherent, divine wealth from the clutches of illusion But where do you even begin to find the strength to fight an enemy that exists within you? The initial shock of recognition, the unsettling truth that your endless striving for external validation has only deepened an internal void, is merely the opening volley in what Yogananda termed the spiritual war, a profound internal battle against the inimigo comum, the illusion of Maya, and the ego's tenacious grip. This ascent towards true wealth and peace is not a gentle staircase. It's a narrowing funnel, an arduous spiritual climb where each test intensifies, and the emotional cost of clinging to old paradigms escalates exponentially. The journey demands a radical reorientation of your entire being, a shift from seeking outward solutions to realizing the boundless tesoro within. You've been conditioned to believe that the universe is an external entity, a cosmic vending machine that dispenses riches if you input the right prayers, affirmations, or manifestation techniques. This belief, however well-intentioned, is itself a subtle trap of the ego, an extension of the illusion of separation. It positions you as a passive recipient, waiting for a signal, a sign, a blessing from an external deity. But Yogananda, echoing the profound truth of Vedanta, taught that the universe doesn't grant riches. It responds to your inner state of soul abundance. It mirrors your consciousness, reflecting back the reality you hold within. This is the core of the inimigo comum's deception, convincing you that your inherent divine wealth is something you must earn or attract, rather than something you already are. The ego thrives on this misperception, generating an endless stream of desires, making you feel perpetually incomplete, perpetually lacking. It creates a spiraling tension. The more you chase outward, the more the inner void seems to expand, pushing you further from the profound peace and power that reside within. The battle begins when you first attempt to turn inward. The moment you decide to disengage from the external chase, to silence the clamor of the world and the ego's insistent demands, you encounter the first wave of resistance. This is the ego's fierce self-preservation instinct, a primal fear of its own dissolution. It will barrage you with doubts, anxieties, distractions. You're wasting time. This is too hard. Nothing is changing. You need to do something. These are not external attacks. They are the internal mechanisms of defense the inimigo comum fighting to maintain control over your consciousness. Yogananda's teachings on Kriya Yoga and the science of the soul emphasize that true spiritual progress is an inside job. It's about purifying the corpo and mind, not to earn something, but to remove the layers of conditioning that obscure your inherent divinity. The Advaita Vedanta philosophy, particularly articulated by Adi Shankara, states that the ultimate reality, Brahman, is non-dual, and our individual soul, Atman, is identical to it. The perceived separation is due to avidya, ignorance. The path to wealth and peace is therefore a process of knowledge, of realizing this identity, not of acquiring anything new. This internal warfare unfolds in 3 stages, each a mini cliffhanger that compels you to choose. 1. The external battle. You might experience a pushback from your environment. Others may not understand your shift in priorities. They might label you as lazy, irresponsible, or too spiritual. Your material circumstances initially might even seem to worsen as the universe tests your resolve, mirroring your internal cleansing. This stage challenges your commitment to your inner journey. Will you succumb to external pressures and return to the familiar comfort of the outward chase? Or will you stand firm in your burgeoning inner conviction? 2. The internal battle. This is the more insidious phase. Your own mind becomes the battleground. Old fears resurface. Past regrets haunt you. Anxieties about the future paralyze you. The ego whispers, "This introspection is useless. You're making things worse. You're not strong enough for this." This is the inimigo comum attacking your self-worth. your faith in your own soul's capacity for transformation. Will you believe these internal voices, these echoes of past conditioning, or will you find the inner fortitude to discern them as mere projections of an identity clinging to its illusionary power? 3. The paradox of surrender. The ultimate test arrives when you realize that the battle isn't about winning through force, but through surrender. You cannot conquer the ego by fighting it. You dissolve it by transcending it, by surrendering your limited will to the divine will, by recognizing that the Atman is the ultimate witness, untouched by the ego's drama. This is the moment of profound paradox. True strength emerges from radical vulnerability, true control from absolute letting go. But how does one surrender when every fiber of your being has been trained to fight, to control, to grasp? What does it truly mean to let go of the very desire for wealth and peace in order to truly experience them? And how can a simple set of words guide this profound act of relinquishment? The journey has led you to this precipice, this pivotal moment where the illusion of eternal striving begins to crack. You stand at the threshold of a profound revelation, having navigated the turbulent waters of external desires and the insidious internal warfare waged by the ego. You've recognized that true wealth, enduring peace, and the untamed power of the soul are not found through frantic acquisition, but through a sacred act of remembering, an uncovering of what is already inherently yours as the Atman. This is the alchemia final, where the leaden weight of suffering, purified in the crucible of introspection and disciplined practice, transmutes into the pure gold of expanded consciousness. Paramahansa Yogananda, the great yogi and spiritual master, understood this process intimately. He offered not complex rituals or convoluted philosophies, but profound, accessible truths distilled into potent forms. He knew that the secret to activating this inner divine wealth lay not in some secret mantra whispered once, but in consistent conscious realignment with the fundamental nature of reality. He didn't just teach about the Atman and Brahman, he showed how to experience them, how to embody their truth daily. And to guide this embodiment, he consistently emphasized and repeated 5 sacred words, 5 pillars of consciousness that, when truly understood and integrated, harmonize your entire being and activate boundless wealth and peace from within. These are not merely words. They are codes for awakening, resonant frequencies that attune your soul to its eternal heritage. The 5 sacred words are, I am a child of God. Let us delve into each component of this profound affirmation, understanding its connection to Vedanta and Yogananda's teachings, and how it serves as a daily practice to harmonize your consciousness and activate divine prosperity. 1. Thantinya. This is not the egoic I, the limited personality defined by name, roles, and past experiences. This I refers to the pure consciousness, the Atman, the eternal spark of the divine within. You, the Upanishads declare, that which is the subtle essence. This whole world has that as itself. That is the real. That is the Atman. That thou art. When you say I, you are not affirming your human limitations. You are affirming your essential, limitless nature, your identity with Brahman. This word shatters the illusion of separation, the root cause of all spiritual poverty and anxiety. It declares your inherent power. 2. Am. This is the verb of pure existence, of beingness. It signifies the ever-present, unchanging reality of your soul. It is beyond past, present, or future. It is the eternal now. In the face of fleeting emotions, challenging circumstances, or the impermanence of the physical world, Am anchors you to your timeless, unshakable essence. Yogananda taught the importance of living in the present moment, for it is only in the eternal now that God can be directly experienced. This word cultivates peace. 3. This small, seemingly insignificant article carries profound weight. It acknowledges individuality within universality. You are a child, distinct in your expression, yet not separate from the source. It honors the unique path of your soul, your specific dharma, while simultaneously affirming your fundamental unity with all life. It's the paradox of Advaita Vedanta. You are Brahman, yet you are also a unique manifestation of Brahman. This word fosters humility and interconnectedness, recognizing wealth in diversity. 4. Child. This word evokes innocence, purity, unconditional love, and absolute trust. A child of God is inherently cherished, provided for, and protected. It shifts your perspective from being a struggling individual to being a beloved offspring of the divine. It implies an inheritance, a birthright, the boundless wealth and peace of the Creator. Yogananda emphasized the importance of developing a childlike devotion, bhakti yoga, and trust in God's omnipresent care. This word opens the heart to divine grace and infinite prosperity. 5. Of God. This is the ultimate affirmation of your source, your lineage, your true home. God here refers to the infinite, all-pervading consciousness, Brahman, the cosmic intelligence that orchestrates all creation. To be of God means that you are made of God's very essence. You are an inseparable part of the divine fabric. It signifies your unshakable connection, your eternal belonging, and the absolute certainty of divine support. This word dissolves all fear, all sense of lack, revealing the true nature of divine wealth, which is God itself. The daily practice, embodiment of the 5 sacred words. This isn't a passive affirmation. It's an active reprogramming of your consciousness. Here's how to integrate it. Morning awakening. Before you even open your eyes, before the world's noise intrudes, lie still and silently repeat these 5 words. I am a child of God. Feel each word resonate within your heart, your soul, your corpo. Imagine yourself as a radiant point of consciousness, a beloved fragment of the divine. Let it set the tone for your day, aligning your inner state with this profound truth. Throughout the day, whenever you feel stress, anxiety, lack, or fear, pause. Take a deep breath. Silently repeat, I'm a child of God. Let it be your anchor, your sanctuary. This practice isn't about ignoring challenges, but about facing them from a place of inherent power and peace. It's a continuous act of remembering your true identity. Evening reflection. Before sleep, reflect on your day. Where did you forget your divine lineage? Where did you succumb to the illusion of separateness or lack? Then, with deep sincerity, affirm again, I am a child of God. Let this truth permeate your subconscious as you drift into the astral realms, preparing your soul for deeper spiritual communion. This practice requires unwavering discipline and profound courage. It demands that you actively disidentify from the limited ego and continually re-identify with the Atman. It is a subtle but powerful spiritual technology. It's not about forcing positive thoughts. It's about remembering a fundamental truth that naturally transforms your entire perception of wealth, peace, and power. This is the ultimate alchemy, the process of transmuting the base metal of ego consciousness into the gold of divine consciousness. It is here that the very core of your soul begins to awaken, shedding the layers of illusion and reclaiming its inherent wealth. Now, if this profound truth of your inherent divinity, as echoed by Yogananda and the Upanishads, resonates deep within you, if you feel the stirring of your soul yearning to embrace this divine wealth and peace, not as an aspiration, but as a lived reality, then I challenge you. Do you dare to publicly declare your commitment to this awakening? Comment soul wealth below and share one specific area of your life where you most urgently seek this transformation. Are you ready to witness the profound shift when your external reality begins to mirror the boundless tesoro you activate within? The journey you've embarked upon, initiated by the potent truth of I am a child of God, culminates not in a final destination, but in a profound transformation of your very existence. a new normal, where the heavens have touched the earth within your own consciousness. This is the glorious realization of what it means to live with true soul wealth, an eternal peace, and the awakened power of your divine soul. The frustration of chasing fleeting material gains, the silent anguish of a spiritual void, these are now mere echoes of a forgotten past, replaced by an unshakable inner tesoro. When you consistently and genuinely embody these 5 sacred words, a subtle yet profound shift occurs. Your perception of wealth undergoes a radical metamorphosis. You no longer view it as an external accumulation, a precarious stack of possessions or figures in a bank account that can be lost as quickly as they were gained. Instead, you begin to perceive wealth as the boundless inner abundance that flows from your inherent connection to God, the infinite source of all creation. This divine wealth manifests as an unwavering sense of security, not because you have a lot, but because you are a lot. You are an inseparable part of the all. The anxiety of lack, the fear of losing what you have begins to dissolve, replaced by a quiet confidence, an eternal knowing that you are eternally provided for, eternally cherished. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It's not the absence of problems. It's the presence of God within you, an inalienable serenity that observes the drama of life without being consumed by it. You become the witness, Sakshi, a concept central to Vedanta, observing the play of Maya with detachment and wisdom. The noise of the world, the opinions of others, the ups and downs of fortune, they still exist, but they no longer penetrate the sanctuary of your consciousness. You develop a citadel interior, a spiritual fortress of peace that remains untouched by external storms. This peace is the direct result of understanding your true identity as Atman, untouched by the ephemeral nature of the world. The awakened power of your Tao. Soul isn't a power to dominate others or control external events through sheer force of will, but the power of perfect alignment with divine will. It's the power to choose your internal state, to respond to life with wisdom and compassion rather than react with fear and ego. It's the power to manifest your dharma, your soul's purpose, with effortless grace, because you are acting not from personal ambition, but from divine guidance. Your intuition becomes sharper, your decisions clearer, your actions more effective, because they are rooted in the eternal wisdom of consciousness, not the limited intellect. Yogananda often spoke of the importance of aligning the will with God's will, for then all power flows to you. Consider the ordinary moments of your day, where before you might have felt a surge of anxiety checking your financial statements. Now you approach it with a calm assurance, knowing that your true wealth is inexhaustible. Challenges at work or in relationships which once triggered overwhelming stress are now met with a newfound equanimity, a sense that these are merely experiences for the soul's growth, rather than threats to your existence. The dor occulta abordada, the pervasive feeling of spiritual emptiness despite external achievements, is now replaced by a deep, resonant fulfillment. You realize that the emptiness was merely the soul's yearning to remember itself, and now it is satiated by the profound truth of its own divine nature. This consciousness of being a child of God transforms not just your inner world, but your interactions with the outer world. You begin to see God in everything and everyone. The beggar on the street is also a child of God. The difficult colleague is also a child of God. This radical shift in perception dissolves the barriers of judgment and separation, fostering unconditional love and compassion. Your actions become less about personal gain and more about divine service, spontaneously flowing from a heart overflowing with spiritual riches. This is the essence of karma yoga, as taught in the Bhagavad Gita, action performed with detachment from the fruits offered to the divine. This new normal is not static. It is a dynamic, living state of consciousness. It is the continuous practice of living from the Atman, constantly remembering your eternal identity, allowing the divine wealth to flow through every aspect of your being. It's a liberation from the chains of Maya, a profound awakening to the truth that you are not a limited mortal, but an eternal, radiant, powerful soul, brimming with the tesoro of God's own essence. The world may continue its relentless chase, but you, the awakened soul, stand as a beacon of true prosperity, demonstrating that the greatest wealth is not found, but revealed, not earned, but remembered. The profound peace you now inhabit is not a fragile state, but an eternal foundation, a silent testimony to the divine power activated within. But what if I were to tell you that this profound liberation, this activation of divine wealth and peace within your soul, was not merely for your individual comfort? What if this personal awakening, this shattering of Maya's illusion, was merely the prelude to a far grander, more imperative mission, an eternal call that transcends the boundaries of your individual experience? The power of the Atman you have just begun to unveil, the consciousness you have labored so diligently to reclaim from the clutches of the ego. This is not a final destination, but a sacred portal, a portal through which you are now called to step, not alone, but as a vanguard in the larger cosmic awakening. The inimigo comum, the illusion of separation, the forgetfulness of God, does not confine its influence to individual minds. It casts its long shadow across the entire collective consciousness of humanity. Yogananda, the great guru, did not seek personal enlightenment in isolation. He sought to bring the science of Kriya Yoga and the eternal wisdom of the Upanishads to the entire world, recognizing that true liberation is a collective endeavor. Your journey from spiritual poverty to soul wealth makes you not just a survivor, but a beacon. This divine wealth is a sacred trust, not merely for your enjoyment, but for its responsible stewardship in a world desperately yearning for true peace and power. The great sages understood that consciousness is not merely individual. It is interconnected, a vast ocean where every wave impacts the whole. Your awakening creates a ripple effect, a subtle but powerful resonance that subtly shifts the consciousness of those around you. This is the karma of the enlightened: to elevate, to inspire, to transmit the truth of Atman to others still slumbering in the dream of Maya. What then is the next eternal step for the soul that has truly remembered its divine inheritance? How does one translate this boundless inner tesoro into tangible action that helps lift the veil for others, without falling back into the ego's trap of striving or seeking external validation? What is the Dharma of the awakened, and what profound yet often misunderstood form of power must be embraced to fulfill this sacred collective mission? A mission that Yogananda himself knew to be the ultimate purpose of every soul's journey. You are no longer a seeker adrift in the vast ocean of illusion. You are an awakened soul, a steward of divine wealth, and a living testament to the power of consciousness. Your mission is now clear: to deepen this realization, to embody this peace so profoundly that it becomes a radiant force in the world, effortlessly guiding others towards their own inherent tesoro. To sustain this awakening and to become an even more powerful conduit for divine grace, you must commit to continuous spiritual practice and disciplined introspection. This path demands unwavering dedication, for the illusion of Maya is subtle, and the ego's attempts to reclaim dominance are persistent. But now you possess the map, the 5 words Yogananda repeated, and the inner compass, your Atman, to navigate this sacred journey. If you are ready to fully embrace your divine identity, to live as a child of God, not just in meditation but in every breath, every thought, every action, then it is imperative that you join our community of awakened souls. Subscribe to this channel now. Activate the notification bell. By doing so, you are not merely engaging with content, you are declaring your allegiance to the eternal truth. solidifying your commitment to this divine mission. You are choosing to walk a path of consciousness where wealth is redefined, peace is an unshakable state, and the power of your soul becomes a beacon for a world in desperate need of awakening. Do not delay. Your soul is calling for its next step in this grand eternal journey. Respond now.